you see your horizon victory.
Hey guys, it's MugenLord here, and I'm back again with another discussion video. And today I want to stray away from fighting games for a little bit. And I know you guys like the fighting games and everything, but I really want to get this off my chest because it's really been, really been on my mind lately. And I really want to talk about my favorite character. And this character had pretty much shaped my experience as a gamer growing up as a kid. This character had pretty much defined, what kind of gamer I wanted to be, and this character really pushed me and it coaxed me into gaming altogether. And I've been a hardcore gamer ever since this character was revealed to me, or this character was exposed to me, if you want to say, besides Link from Legend of Zelda. But this character is Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog had pretty much shaped my life, as a gamer and as a kid growing up. And Sonic the Hedgehog is responsible for me getting into games, really. And Sonic the Hedgehog games had pretty much sharpened my reflexes, and it pretty much sharpened my gross motor skills and everything. And I used to spend hours, especially after school. The incentive that my parents used to give me, if I finish my homework or if I get a perfect score on my spelling and everything like that, they allow me to be able to play my game. And I used to work hard and bust my butt every day when I was in elementary school so I can be able to play my Sega Genesis. Because when Sonic the Hedgehog first came out, and yes, I'm old. When Sonic the Hedgehog was first released on the Sega Genesis was my very first console that I've owned as a child. When Sonic the Hedgehog came out, I believe I was like 5 or 6 years old, and my parents had bought me a Sega Genesis. So at that age, I had my very own console. Now, I used to play the NES back when I was like a kid, like 4 years old. I used to play the Legend of Zelda on the NES. My dad used to let me play around with it a little bit, but my first console was the Sega Genesis, and the first game I ever had was Sonic the Hedgehog. And I used to sit down for hours, literally for hours, playing that game. And I remember as a kid, I had a hard time beating Dr. Robotnik, the first boss, where you had the two platforms from the left or the right, and then you had Dr. Eggman coming to the middle of the stage with the little boulder, and you had to jump to the left or the right to make sure you hit him until he explodes and everything. And I remember as a kid, I used to get frustrated because I couldn't beat him, but I used to spend hours until I finally learned how to beat that level, beat that boss. And ever since that, man, like, my gaming experience has just been the best with Sonic. And the thing is about Sonic back in the day, Sonic had defined that a generation. It had defined the genre. It was the only, I guess you could say, he was the only character, or the only mascot, I guess you could say, that could stand to Mario, because Mario had pretty much delivered its own experience to his fan base with Nintendo. It defined platforming. It defined that genre. It defined the gaming industry as a whole. It really inspired everyone within the gaming industry. And then here comes Sonic. Sonic comes in, and he shows that, hey, I'm just as cool. Or matter of fact, I'm not just cool. I'm a badass. I'm much faster. You know what I'm saying? I'm rad. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? And that game by itself, it was so much different from the Mario games. And I love the speed. I love the spin dashes. I love the bonus stages. I love everything that was about Sonic. And Sonic, just like Mario, he defined that genre. He defined that generation and inspired, games as a whole in the industry. And then now we look to today, Sonic had fell so far from grace, and it's just so sad, because just like Mega Man and a couple other characters that just disappeared from the mainstream spotlight in the gaming industry. And it seems as though that Sonic is trying hard. It seems like Sega is trying hard to revitalize and how they can reinvent Sonic. And it seems as though they just don't get it. They seem to just don't know how to translate Sonic into the 3D realm, or the 3D universe, as well as how Nintendo had took Mario and put him into the 3D environment. And ever since he went 3D, it seemed like Sonic had a bumpy road, and it's really bothering me, and it's really upsetting me. But the game I really want to talk about, and it seems like this has been like the biggest discussion as of now, we do know that Sega had announced two Sonic games, and they were Sonic Mania and it was Sonic Forces. Now, Sonic Mania, I must say, I give my props to Christian Whitehead and his team. They really done a good job to bring in a nostalgic feeling to Sonic Mania, and you can tell it's made by the fans. There's a lot of heart and passion, and they showed the old heads down at Sega how to develop a 2D Sonic game, or how to design a platforming Sonic game, and that's what they've done. They really accomplished that with Sonic Mania. Now we're back here again with a 3D Sonic game, which is Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces has a lot of people talking again, and everybody looks forward to a 3D Sonic game. And just like the Sonic fan base and any other fan base, when the game announced to that particular fan base, the hype begins to roll in, the speculations begin to come out, and everybody gets together and start talking and everything. But the thing is, what's so unique about the Sonic community is that when these Sonic games are revealed, this game, every time the reveal come out, expectations are so high, and for some reason it just splits the community. I know there's toxic communities out there, but I never seen anything as toxic as the Sonic community, and it can get really, really toxic. And I know you guys gonna hate me or whatever like that, or say ignorant things to me in the comment section, and that's fine. Say whatever you want to me, but I really, really want to talk about this. It just gets crazy how the community splits like that, and they go at each other's throats. You can just look at the comments and see how people go back and forth with one another, and I can see what people are saying on both sides. I believe the ones that are critical about this 3D Sonic games, or players or people who want to see, or fans who want to see Sonic Team do better with the Sonic franchise. They want to see the game do better and stuff like that. And then you have the fans who are very optimistic about a new released or a new announced Sonic 3D game. They're very optimistic. They say, hey, give Sega a chance. This game could blow our minds and everything like that. So I can understand where both sides are coming from or whatever. It's just how they go about it, and with name calling and everything. And it can sometimes get entertaining and funny just to watch, and just to read the comments and watch them go back and forth. But Sonic Forces really, really had me nervous. And to me, brace yourself. You may get upset or pissed off, but to me, I think that Sonic Forces is either going to be bad or mediocre at best. And the thing about Sonic Forces that really, really had me going, I was super excited, because I guess it was back after Sonic Mania was pretty much revealed. We were also graced with the announcement, which was called Project Sonic 2017 at the time. And when that was first announced with its teaser trailer, I was super, super excited. I was really excited because it showed Sonic. It seemed like it was like, I wouldn't say apocalyptic, but it seemed like the world was in chaos, and the visuals looked perfect, and I was super excited about it. I said, oh man, I can't wait for this. I'm like, this is the next Sonic game that I'm looking for. This is the next 3D Sonic game that I've been waiting for. I can't wait. Let's do it, because I just got off the excitement from Sonic Generations. I say, if they can offer me something better to Sonic Generation, then I'm on board. It seems like they may have a working formula for the 3D Sonic games now. Let's see them do something better, or they improve upon it, and then they move forward with this to give us a unique experience and everything. So as the trailer went on, and as I watched it, then all of a sudden Classic Sonic appeared. Now, I didn't know what to feel, because I guess my first response to the trailer, I was super hyped. I was, oh man, Classic Sonic coming back, this dope. I can't wait to give it a try. But as days went by and I began to look at the trailer once again, and I just kept thinking about it and kept looking over it and everything, and I'm looking like, why do we need Classic Sonic again? And it started getting me nervous just for a little bit. It's because I'm saying, like, okay, Sonic Generations was fun. I love Classic Sonic, and I think to me Classic Sonic was the best experience, 2 generations and everything. But I understood why Generations done it. Generations was more like an anniversary game, It's bringing both the classic and it's bringing both the new generation and putting it together for, for a great experience for both generations of Sonic fans to love all together. And I appreciated that, and I love that. And I was always I was also hoping that maybe Classic Sonic will get its own game to itself, in the 2.5D space and everything, but we didn't get that. But anyway, back to my point. When I seen Classic Sonic, I was saying to myself, okay, I love Generations, but I hope this is not a Generations 2.0. I really wouldn't want it to be a Generations 2.0. I want them to pretty much elaborate and pretty much enhance what they've learned from the past Sonic games with the boost mechanics and everything, and add more to it and stuff like that. And I was getting kind of confused, or I was wondering, like, what are they going to do with this game? And then later on, Sega said they wanted to push the game back for another year or whatever like that, because they said they really want to get this game right. And they said this is going to be a game that the Sonic fans are really going to love, because they want to put the extra time and the fans won't be disappointed. So later on, I guess you could say last year or earlier this year, they finally revealed more gameplay of it, and the trailer they finally revealed for the game was the Avatar system. So I was like, okay, you create your own original character for Sonic Forces. That's pretty interesting. And I would say we have yet to see a feature like that in the Sonic game. So I'm welcome to it. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a try. It is different. It's risky, but it is different. So once I seen the trailer, and then when I watched the trailer of how the original characters work, they use I guess you could say gadgets, and the gadgets is supposed to allow you to gain access to certain, I guess you could say, paths or areas in the game, or it's to distinguish the gameplay different from the modern Sonic and the classic Sonic. So after I seen the gameplay, and then I seen how, even though it was the first trailer for the original characters, I was saying that, man, these original characters seem kind of generic to me. Now, I know they're going to come out with other parts, body parts, and stuff like that, so you can get even more creative with the characters, but it still seemed a little generic to me. And then once I seen the gameplay of the original characters, it felt more, it seemed like it was a gameplay style that I've seen somewhere before. And I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, this is nothing but Shadow the Hedgehog, just with your original character and everything. And I was saying to myself, how much more different will the original character's gameplay experience will be from classic Sonic? And, well, it's obvious difference with classic Sonic, but how much more difference will it be from modern Sonic? Because from the looks of it, it looks like it has modern Sonic gameplay, but just with gadgets involved with it. And the gadgets remind me of Shadow the Hedgehog in a way, even down to the way the character moves and how it interacts with the enemies when he attacks with the weapons and stuff like that. And it reminds me of Shadow the Hedgehog, but a little bit more improved, because if you play Shadow the Hedgehog, I had it on the GameCube, I think it was a good idea and a good approach to give Shadow weapons to distinguish him from Sonic. But it was the way that Sega went about it and how they executed, which was really sloppy. It was really horrible, and the weapons really didn't impact the experience of the game, of my gameplay experience at all. And pretty much the homing attack was just as effective, if not even more effective, than the weapons itself. So when I look at the Avatar, and I'm saying to myself, okay, with the gadgets and everything, how would this change my gameplay experience? How would this impact my gameplay experience? How would this feel unique from classic Sonic and modern Sonic? Will this definitely be a different experience for me? Because after I seen it, I don't know, I guess my excitement, my hype kind of had dwindled down just a bit for Sonic Forces after I seen the original characters revealed. And then after these original characters were revealed, that's when the community really started becoming a bit divided, because you had people on one end saying that the original characters were stupid, and then you have on the other end, you have people saying, oh man, they can't wait to make their own characters. I think this is a good idea for the 3D Sonic games and everything. And it was just crazy how everyone is going back and forth. But the thing that really upsetted me, or really bothered me about, and I really want to point this out, because my brother DX Strike said it in better words than I did. I couldn't figure out the words. He was pretty much saying, and what I was thinking was, man, like, I thought we was going to finally get another Sonic Adventure in terms of playing other characters, and I think what made Sonic Adventure a fun game and a fun experience for me was I not only played as Sonic, I played as Sonic's friends, and despite what you think about the gameplay with each character offered different gameplay. And I figured that Sonic Forces would pretty much elaborate on that. And I was like, okay, my brother DX Strike said, hey, like, this would have been a perfect opportunity for you to not only play as Sonic, but play as the other characters, because in this game you're playing as in the Resistance. Whatever the storyline and the plot is, everybody joined together in this Resistance. And he was saying it would have been perfect if you was able to play as the other Sonic characters, the Resistance, especially that we known for the fact that Sonic for a good part has been missing. No one knows where Sonic is at. So seeing Knuckles lead the resistance, or seeing Tails lead the resistance, and you be able to play as those characters, I think that would have been a unique, and I think it would have been a different experience and stuff, because Sonic Team could have elaborated on those different gameplay experiences with those characters and stuff. So I was kind of disappointed that we only play as two Sonics, and then we play as an original character, which doesn't really seem like he or she feels that much different from modern Sonic at all. So I was kind of disappointed in seeing that. So later on, once E3 came about, we started seeing more gameplay, and I realized that as I'm watching the gameplay, I realized that, wait a minute, these stages are very linear, and that's the thing that really bothered me with this game, and what I've been seeing recently with some of the gameplay. The stages are linear, super linear. It seems like you just hold the boost button and you just boost and keep going forward, and it seems like there's no real thinking, or there's no real platforming or real thinking involved in this newer game, and that's what's really scaring me about this game. Now, a lot of people have an argument saying that, like, why would you not like this game? It's the same engine, or it's the same thing as Sonic Generations. Now, this is the thing that I'm saying to myself, I'm saying to everybody. Just because a game plays like a game that I like doesn't mean that I would like that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like games that's going to give me a fresh experience. I love a game that's willing to take risks and try different things. Yes, I like Sonic Generations, but the reason why I like Sonic Generations so much is because Sonic Generation was its own thing. It was paying homage to the generation and to the history of what Sonic and the Sonic team and Sega have been throughout the years with Sonic, and it was a great homage. It was a great anniversary for that game. And then they took it and they moved it over to Sonic Forces, which I don't like. I don't really agree with that at all. And then this is the thing that bothers me the most, is that this is the first Sonic game, the first 3D Sonic game that's being developed for the PS4 and all the current gen consoles. And that's the thing that really bothers me the most, because if you look at when Sonic was released on Sega, it offered a unique experience. And then when you looked over to the Dreamcast, when Sonic Adventure 1 was first released, that was a totally different experience. This was a definitive Sonic game for the Dreamcast. It represented the Dreamcast. This was the Sonic game that your players were looking forward to. And then now you look at, you know, the PS4 and everything. When you look over to the 360 and the PS3, we finally got Sonic Unleashed, which I think Sonic Unleashed was moving in the right direction. With Sonic Unleashed and everything, I think Sonic Unleashed was really good. Was a good game, and despite the fact that the Werehog really messed things up just a little bit, messed my experience up. But it was going in the right direction, because Sonic Unleashed had brand new visuals. The boost mechanics was amazing and everything. So they were going in the right direction with this. Now we look at Sonic Forces. It seemed like Sonic Forces didn't. Oh yeah, yeah. And it seemed like that Sonic Forces had pretty much is not really doing anything that's a big leap from what they did the last time. Now, to give you a perfect example, I look at the Mario mainline 3D Mario games. Look at Mario 64. Mario 64 was amazing. Mario 64, it pretty much defined that generation, and it really inspired, you know, the industry altogether. And then you look at Mario Sunshine, another game that they took a risk with as far as the gameplay and everything. And then we have the highly acclaimed Mario Galaxy. Now, I'm not really a big Mario Galaxy fan, but I see where they did put in efforts and they did try something different with the Mario Galaxy series, and they nailed it again. And then now you look at the Nintendo Switch of Mario Odyssey. Look at Mario Odyssey now. Mario Odyssey, this is the Mario game, 3D Mario platformer game that I've been waiting for this generation, and this game is going to be really good. Now, look at this. Sonic was the same way. Sonic had defined the genre. It had defined the generation back in the day. Now you look at Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces is on the PS4 and it's on current consoles, but it's not really doing nothing to define, you know, this generation or to step its game up as far as visuals and gameplay. I was expecting them to pretty much build a new Sonic game from the ground up. For the PS4 and current gen consoles, to give us a brand new experience, an experience that we never really experienced before, or experience that seems familiar but fresh at the same time. And it seemed like with Sonic Forces that they pretty much going down the same path again. Hey, like, We don't really have, it seemed like to me that Sega don't really have faith in the boost mechanic, and they had to throw in Classic Sonic. Now, like I said before, Classic Sonic was good for Sonic Generations because of the theme. It was the anniversary. Then we had Sonic Mania. Now, Sonic Mania is its own franchise or series, if you want to say that. It brings back the nostalgia in the classic 2D platform and everything. But 3D Sonic should be its own thing. And now they bring back Classic Sonic, which I think Classic Sonic is really, really unnecessary. But it seemed to me that Sega don't have any kind of faith in the boost mechanic, because after a while the boost mechanic can get kind of I guess you can say get kind of boring or repetitive after a while. And they threw the Classic Sonic in there, and I don't think that Classic Sonic is really necessary, because if you look at the stages and the designs, it seemed like the designs are like from older stages, and they just added a new backdrop to it as well. And then you look at the Classic Sonic gameplay as well, that's also linear. And then they announced the Shadow DLC, which is free DLC. Now I can give them props for that. It's free DLC, but I wonder why it's free DLC, the Shadow storyline. Because if you look at when you look at the first trailer or the gameplay trailer of the Shadow DLC, the stage design to that DLC look just as horrible. I've never seen a Sonic game so linear in my life in a long time. Like the creativity to the level design is so boring, it's so generic, and I can see why it's free. It's probably already been in development and they left it out, or didn't have time to implement it, so hey, let's just make it free, put it into the for players to enjoy, to see what's been going on with Team Dark and everything like that. But take a look if you haven't seen the trailer or seen the gameplay to the Shadow DLC. The stage design is very, very generic, very linear, very straightforward. And it just boggles my mind how some players actually are defending how linear this game is. Like Sonic Generations, it had some openness to it. Even down to Sonic Colors, the linearness wasn't as bad or whatever like that. But looking at this game is linear as hell, and it looks bad in that aspect as far as linearity. And linearity is not always a bad thing, but it all depends on the experience. If it's going to offer us high quality experience, if it's going to offer us something unique, to the gameplay experience, to the players and everything. But if you look at Sonic Forces, is reuse assets, and we talked about this with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's reuse assets. They're using the same gameplay mechanics from different games, and it seems like they haven't really improved that much upon those previous from those mechanics from the last games or whatever like that. And then they just throw in the Avatar system, repackage it, and then say, hey, we have a new game for this generation. And I'm really, really disappointed, and I'm really upset with the direction they decided to go with Sonic Forces with this. And I really had high hopes for this. I was hoping that that at the Sonic Forces, I want Sonic game to do well, I really do, but I really believe that Sonic Forces will not end up being a good game. It will be a mediocre or a bad game. It's either going to be one or the other, a bad game or a mediocre game. And I really believe that. And just recently, you can download the Japanese demo to Sonic Forces, and everyone is trashing this. Like, a lot of people are trashing this, and you have some people that's damage control in this game as well. Even though it's just a demo, people are saying, oh, it's just the first stage, oh, it's just the first boss, or whatever like that. But this is just a preview, and just look at the demo. I just never seen such a linear Sonic game like this, and this is really bothering me. And you guys know what I'm talking about. We've experienced it before with another game, and that game is called Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 was, I call it Hallway 13. That game was such a big hallway that you just go down a straight path. You may have a path that branched to the left or right, but all it did was bring you back to the main path again. You're just going straight up. And this is a Final Fantasy game. Now, we already know Final Fantasies were very open, and they had a lot of exploration, and 13 had boiled down to something as linear as that. And that's what I'm getting from this game. This is like the Final Fantasy 13 of Sonic games to me, and it's really upsetting me. And like I said, I'm a Sonic fan. I know there's a lot of you too that want to see me play this game and stuff, and I'm not saying that I won't get the game, because like I said, one thing I can say about Sonic Forces, and what Sega been doing with most of their current 3D Sonic games, they have good presentation as far as visuals, and the graphics and everything, and some of the cinematics that they have going on in the game and stuff like that. Those seem very appealing to me and stuff. But to me, I think that after this game, if this game doesn't do too well, I really believe that Sega should step back and really reevaluate how they're going to take Sonic forward from here on out. And to me, what I think, and this is my opinion, what they should do with the Sonic games, if they should take some elements for Sonic Adventure as far as the game, as far as characters. I liked it with Sonic Adventure where they had different story. Every character had their own perspective on how the main story went, and how these characters cross together and intertwine with one another. And then after you complete all the stories, you get this one final story that brings everything together. And I think they really should bring that back. But like I said, they should enhance it. They should evolve it a bit more, flesh it out a bit more, because Sonic Adventure was more story heavy, and I really think that if you give us a high quality story for a Sonic game and amp it up just a little bit and give us that adventure story arc and gameplay, I think that'd be awesome. Then I think they should take some of the combat mechanics from Sonic Boom. Now you may hate me for this, but I think Sonic Boom was a risky game, but I believe it was a good idea. Now I will do a video on the history on Sonic Boom and how it was shaping up to be a great game, but then fell apart at the last minute. But anyway, I think we should take gameplay mechanics like the combat and stuff and enhance that, and give some of the combat mechanics to some of the characters in a newer Sonic game, along with the adventure style Sonic game. Then remove the 2D aspects. We don't need the 2D aspects. We really don't. Make it a fully 3D game and leave the 2D aspects to the classic Sonic games or the more nostalgic Sonic games. We don't need that 2D aspect. Keep it totally 3D, because this is a 3D Sonic game. So they can take the boost mechanic and give the boost mechanic to Sonic and everything. Like, so I think they should just mesh some of these together, but enhance it in a way. Give us a better story, give us a more in-depth gameplay and everything like that. Then add the weapon-based gameplay that from Shadow the Hedgehog, but you know, enhance that and make you feel like the weapons does make a big difference for Shadow the Hedgehog. Add some stats, stat boosting effects and stuff like that. So many things they can do with Sonic, and they really need to sit down and reevaluate how they're going to take Sonic from here on out. But that pretty much, you know, my opinion and what I think about Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces look like it's going to be either bad or mediocre, and I think that once the reviews come out, we'll definitely get our answer. And I can't wait to see I can't wait to see the debate going back and forth between the community. You know, you had the people that said I told you so, then you had the other people on the other side saying that damage controlling and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to actually seeing what the results is going to be. I'm definitely going to have the game, because I'm going to live stream it for you guys to go check the game out and everything. But I really want Sonic to do well. So give me your opinions. What do you think they should do with the Sonic franchise from here on out after Sonic Forces? Or do you think Sonic Forces is perfectly fine, perfectly okay, and they should continue to keep the same gameplay for future Sonic installments for the 3D Sonic games? So make sure you leave your thoughts in the comment sections below, and feel free to criticize me, say what you want. It's fine. This is YouTube. I gave my opinion on a public platform, so destroy me if you like. This is MugenLord, and you guys have a good day. Signing off.